Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I am Gattani, and this is a book review of the book 1984 by the author George Orwell. And this review is a part of Project. So, I'm reviewing one of the most iconic and dystopian novels of the 20th century. Now, this book has been interpreted in many ways, often through a leftist or anti capitalist lens. But today I want to approach 1984 from a different angle, a centralist capitalist perspective. That is a viewpoint that acknowledges the value of free markets, regulated individual liberty, and limited but necessary state oversight to prevent the very dystopia Orwell feared. Published in 1949, this book is a chilling projection of a totalitarian future. The novel follows Winston Smith, a low ranking member of the ruling party in the superstate of Oceania, the party led by the enigmatic and possibly fictitious Big Brother. Controls every aspect of life, language, history, thought, and even personal relationships. It's a society where war is peace, freedom is slavery, and ignorance is strength. Orwell's famous slogans that encapsulate the terrifying paradoxes of absolute power. And it's here where we can start drawing valuable insights from a centralist capitalist perspective. So let's begin with the economic structure or the lack of, or the complete lack of one. So there's no capitalism, there's no competition, no entrepreneurship, no innovation. The state controls production, rations consumption, eliminates choice. Everything is centrally planned and permanently stagnant. This kind of system isn't just inefficient, it's inhumane. It removes agency from individuals and stifles the very creativity and ambition that drive progress in the capitalist societies. A capitalist lens reveals how Orwell critiques not just fascism, but the failures of extreme social or communism. There is no wealth creation in 1984, only resource control. And in the absence of a market economy, Orwell shows us a population that is not just poor in material goods, but also in spirit. Poverty isn't just an accident here, it's the policy. The party keeps people miserable so they remain easier to control. Now, second, we need to talk about the truth and media. The Ministry of Truth is a propaganda machine that rewrites history to suit the party's needs. There's no objective record of past, no free press, and certainly no transparency. This is where a capitalist democracy shines. In a system where media operates independently and is backed by a diverse range of private entities, we at least have the possibility of accountability and pluralism. Sure, capitalist systems have their media biases and flaws, but they also allow competition narratives, dissenting voices, and fact checking. In 1984, none of that exists. There's only the party's truth, and if you dare to question it, you disappear. Third, individual freedom. So, this is where Orwell's message hits hardest. Winston's journey is fundamentally about the right to think freely, to love freely, to live without surveillance. Under Big Brother, none of that is allowed, even your thoughts are politicized. Now, in a balanced capitalist society with democratic institutions, individual rights are paramount. You can disagree, protest, innovate, and own property. The government's role should be to protect these freedoms, not to eliminate them. And that's the centralist position, a government that is strong enough to provide structure and security, but limited enough to prevent tyranny. Orwell's 1984 shows us what happens when government grows too powerfully, when it becomes the economy, the media, the culture, the family, and your conscience. A healthy capitalist democracy creates space for disagreement, risk, and failure. Things are things that are messy but essential to freedom. So the main question, I guess, is Why does 1984 matter to us today? Because even now we see echoes of Orwell's nightmare in regimes, in censorship, in surveillance capitalism, and even in political extremism on both sides. The erosion of objective truth through manipulated media or the rise of populist governments that weaponize fear and red flags Orwell would recognize. But we also see the antidote: free enterprise, competitive media, checks and balances, and digital transparency. When working properly, a capitalist system can decentralize power and elevate the individual. The warning in 1984 isn't to abandon capitalism, it's to prevent power from becoming so centralized that it swallows the markets, the press, and the person. This is why a centralist capitalist interpretation matters. It reminds us that while the state plays a crucial role in regulating excess and ensuring fairness, it must never become the sole architect of the truth or economy. A free market tempered with ethics and protected by a democratic institution is a safeguard against the Orwellian future. Um, so it is most of it, and I would like to conclude now. So to wrap up, 1984 is not just a quotationary tale against totalitarianism. It's a powerful argument for balance between freedom and order, innovation and structure, individual rights and collective good. From a centralist capitalist perspective, Orwell's world is a dire warning of what happens when the state overreaches, when the economy is nationalized beyond repair, and when truth becomes a commodity of the powerful. The lesson: freedom requires vigilance, prosperity requires openness, and truth requires competition. So, if you haven't read 1984 yet, I urge you to do so, not just as a work of literature, but as a mirror and a warning about the systems we build and the freedoms we preserve. Thanks for listening.